controlled by the secret societies. And this is from Secret Agenda by Jim Hugin, Random House, copyright 1984, and this appears on page 48 and 49. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. And it's, quote, "My source said that the notes had been written by analysts assigned to the CIA's Office of Medical Services and Office of Security. Their concern, indeed, what seems to have been their panic, stems from the fact that Fitzgerald, the talented author of Fire in the Lake, was the daughter of the late Desmond Fitzgerald, a former deputy director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Indeed, Des Fitzgerald was a legendary figure within the agency and one of the original Knights Templar." End quote. It goes on to talk about him, and then there's footnotes about the Knights Templar where they were the CIA officers who were close to William Donovan. And William Donovan, when he created the OSS, which was the forerunner to the Central Intelligence Agency, and of course all this was carried into the new agencies when they were created, surrounded himself would only take in those members of a secret society known as the Knights Templar. That's well known amongst researchers who research the OSS, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Office of Naval Intelligence, and others. And, of course, the American public really doesn't know anything about this kind of stuff. When I made that allegation years ago, after having been a member of the Office of Naval Intelligence and revealing the way that I was selected for the Office of Naval Intelligence, and that there was no one, and I mean absolutely no one, who was in the Office of Naval Intelligence or the intelligence community that I knew of at the time that I was attached to the Office of Naval Intelligence, who was not a highly degreed Freemason, a member of the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templar, and many others. There were also a lot of people heavily recruited from Brigham Young University, which is a Mormon university in the state of Utah. And when I asked about this, they told me that the Mormons were very good at keeping secrets and were well disciplined and would never question their orders. I don't know how true that is, folks, but I do know that the intelligence community has been from its very beginning, controlled by these secret societies, fraternal organizations, and in particular, the Knights Templar. If you don't believe that, I just gave you one source. There are a lot of other sources that I've given you in the past which confirm that. Everybody who's investigated the OSS and Wild Bill Donovan, who is the old man, the senior person within the intelligence community, of course he's gone now, but he's the one who set it all up. He's the one that made it work in the modern era anyway. And he began the whole thing by recruiting only those Knights Templars and surrounding himself with Knights Templars. The strange thing about it is that he himself was a Catholic. And the Knights Templars have sworn revenge against the Vatican, the Catholic Church, because the Pope and the King of France way back in 1307 moved against the Templars and literally destroyed their order in France and forced them to go underground in Europe and in the other places of the world where they existed. And then they became an extremely subversive group existing within the framework and the fabric of the other so-called fraternal orders, the mystery schools, and the secret societies ever since. So there you have that for whatever it's worth, and it's only worth it to, if you're trying to find out what's really going on and who's doing it and why and what it means, and or if you're just researching these subjects, or if you just have an interest in it. I've had a lot of letters from people telling me that they don't want to hear this kind of...
In the wake of a shocking new climate report that was released this week, warnings of dire consequences for humanity in it, more than 1,000 scientists protested around the world today, including a top climate scientist at NASA.
Yeah, Peter Kalamas was arrested this week for civil disobedience after chaining himself to a Chase Bank entrance in Los Angeles. Kalamas and scientists around the world are in a desperate bid to save the planet and convince leaders to drastically cut carbon emissions. The latest UN report warns that the civilized world is nowhere near on track to meet the CO2 emission goals.
We're going to lose everything. And we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone, that we're willing to take this risk.
NASA's official stance on climate change is that carbon dioxide from human activity is increasing 250 times faster from natural sources.
One last thing before we go. They're the hottest jerseys in the NBA, and now they're back in the Valley.
Warnings of dire consequences for humanity in it. Warnings of dire consequences for humanity in it. More than 1,000 scientists protested around the world today, including a top climate scientist at NASA. Warnings of dire consequences for humanity in it. More than 1,000 scientists protested around the world today, including a top climate scientist at NASA.
Yeah, Peter Kalamas was arrested this week for civil disobedience after chaining himself to a Chase Bank entrance in Los Angeles.
We're going to lose everything. And we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone. We're going to lose everything. And we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone.
Looks like the mood. Looks like the mood. Looks like the mood.
Well, well, well. We are hopefully back again. And I'm hoping, actually, that we're live and the audio is all good in the hood. But if not, hey, what am I going to do? We can only try our best, right? So hopefully we're live here from the rolling hills of Murrayshire in the far northeast corner of bonny Scotland, right? In little old Elgin, which is seemingly originated, the name Elgin seemingly means Ireland, actually. But it's not pinned in concrete, but that's what they go with, right? So that's where I am, at least. And good evening. We're almost into the morning, but not quite yet. It's getting there. It's creeping upon us. Bedtime, you might say, but we're not there. It's still evening. I'm going to go with that. So good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning, whatever, wherever you are in this absolutely insane world that we inherit. Wow, where do you even begin? Honestly, I do not know. So let me quickly take a look at the chat, and then I want to show you a video and a couple of slides, mainly from tonight. A bit of an interesting night in the skies above. I'm sure there will be an article tomorrow, a BBC article, explaining how there was a rare phenomenon in the skies of the UK with a, explanation, right? Of course. But with me being me, I've kind of got my own idea. So, hello to Kari in the hood tonight from Mexico. Yeah, we all want to move to Mexico now, by the way. So, Kari's going to sort us out. Great stuff. Good to see you. Rich in the hood as well. Great stuff. Atlantis as well. Thanks to everyone for checking out the website. Hopefully it's okay. Let me know what you think of it. Yeah, any feedback's much appreciated. Ragnar as well, my Irish brother in the hood. Good to see you back again. Great stuff. Mormons, yeah, I actually used to get Mormons at my door when I stayed basically right beside a Mormon church. So they never went far, right? But I used to get them at my door bloody constantly for quite a long time. And honestly, they were nice people, but they were relentless. Put it that way. They were always American. I always remember asking one of the guys, "Oh, whereabouts are you from?" And he said, "I'm from the West." And I thought, well, yeah, that bloody narrows it right down. That the West. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know it well. Okay, sure. Typical American, I thought, but there you go. So, good evening to Atlantis. Space Hopper Mark in the hood as well. No offense to Americans, by the way. We're us Scots are just as bad, I can assure you. In fact, we're worse. So there you go. We're even worse. Phoenix Maximus in the hood as well. Good to see you. Southwest USA. Fantastic. There we go. Johnny Blogs as well in the hood. Anybody else that I missed? I think I got everyone. Makes a change, right? I like it when there's not too many. At least then I can kind of stay on top of it. I actually phoned in tonight to the Richie Allen show, which was I phoned in a few times before, and when I phoned in, I've always kind of thought, well, I've never wanted to phone in to sort of promote the channel or anything like that. So I've always sort of not mentioned it, but Richie has been told about it in the past. So tonight when I spoke to him, I never asked him. He asked me to give it a plug, and so I did. So we got a plug on the Richie Allen show earlier tonight, which was pretty cool. Do you know this? I never even expected to get through, but I got straight through. It was like it never even rang. And then I was basically straight through live to this Richie Allen show, and even though I've done live streams before and stuff like that, I felt quite nervous because I got straight through unexpected, so it kind of caught me off guard, to be honest. But I've got a lot of time for the Richie Allen show and all that Richie does, and I feel that he's one of very few journalists that are out there. There's not many. We've said it before. There is not many, and so I got to give the channel a shout out. But obviously, I'm on the original channel. We're in prison. We are censored again. Shock horror. So I forgot to mention that as well. But so I doubt anyone, because I think people did come over after I plugged it. So they might not necessarily be here, but thank you to everyone. Quite a few people did, I think, as well. So thank you to everyone who did join over. We're live tonight on the Twitter as well, I believe. Seemingly, no one's gonna know. It won't matter. Not even the tumbleweed will be watching over on Twitter. I can't see if there's any comments. I don't think from there. But there's usually not, so kind of pointless doing it. But we stream it anyway. I do feel that if we was to pick up a strike, then I could, if I never had the video backed up, I could download it again from Twitter. So it's kind of like a backup, the stream. But people might watch it. I'm unsure, to be honest. It doesn't seem to get many views. Not that we get many here or even on the original, but we're here anyway. I enjoy making the content. I enjoy the community that we've got. Richie Allen is a radio broadcaster, independent media, totally 100% supported by listeners and not, I don't know, big pharma or anything like that. He's a great guy in my view. He's not going to be for everyone. That's the way it is. But I've followed Richie now since about, well, I've listened to him since about, thinking back, maybe 2014. So it's been quite a while, to be honest. He's had a lot of great guests on his radio, lots of great information. A lot of people in the past telling the truth about the juice. And of course, we picked up a strike the other week because of it was Vernon Coleman that got us the strike. I had an idea it would get one, but interesting timing when it happened, I thought. Thinking back to the last time they gave us a strike. It seems to be all very interesting when it happens. Something seems to happen when I get a strike. So I think next time I get a strike, we're going to have to take note. Something might go down. I remember the time before. It was the Georgia tombstones, the Georgia Guidestones. I got a strike then that night or the next day. They came down. And then this time we had the situation with the balloon, and now we've got the earthquakes as well. We're not really going to get into that tonight. I was hoping to, but I never got time to kind of get round to it. I wanted to do about 2 hours on the NASA. We've got NASA stuff, Bill Gates, AI, 5G, UN disinformation campaign. They're going to be coming after anyone who disagrees with the UN. Quite an interesting document that they've just released today, I think. It was today. So we might look at that, but definitely NASA, definitely Bill Gates, a few other bits as well, AI, 5G, a lot of stuff. There's so much going on. It's unbelievable, honestly, absolutely unbelievable at the moment. It's so fast paced as well. So that I think we're going to do on the Wednesday, right? So we'll do that on the Wednesday. But for tonight, Richie, well, to an extent, yeah, he does say that. A lot of people do disagree with him. I tend to lean towards the more rebranding scenario, incoming strike. That's the scenario I lean, but everything's already been there. They just say and then change a few things, put out the propaganda, and people think, but nothing really changed. But now it's a completely different story, given the mass gigantic inoculation right across the board. And I mean, look at what's going on now. Excess, everything you can think of, basically. But then for a whole weekend, you had people watching a balloon, pretty much. A Chinese spy balloon. A Chinese spy balloon, yeah, of course it was. We'll go, if that's what they're saying it was, it must have been that, right? We'll go with that. We're going to touch on that as well, probably on Wednesday. So look out for it. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what the latest has been in the way of your area, the weather, the skies, the spraying. That is right across the board. And everything seems to be all coinciding, coming together for the hidden hand. You've got the horrendous situation with the mass inoculation, but on top of that, you've got the whole 5G AI situation coming in just coincidentally. And now they're talking about how AI and 5G are going to combine together like the perfect partnership made in the pits of hell, probably. So we've got that to get into as well. It's so fitting, but totally none of it planned, right? Yeah, let's go with that. So we'll jump to I want to show you first of all a few slides that I've got. This all happened tonight. So if we go full screen. So I think we might hear about this in the media, locally at least. I know people, my good friend from college, seen it as well. And she's farther west towards Inverness area. And they seen it. And these lines were huge, gigantic. And they only got bigger right through the night. Just sort of appearing. And this photo would have been about, I think maybe in the evening time, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, possibly. I don't think later than that. But there was more than the ones you can see here. It stretched right across the sky. Gigantic. For miles, basically. And I think I've got, in fact, if you look at, oh, it's not in that one. But if you look at that one here, this is later on about maybe 10 o'clock. And there was a gigantic long one, right, and basically beside the moon, covering it to an extent. And it reminded me of a gigantic roll cloud, I think they call them. That's what they call them, at least. But I'm unsure if this was a chemtrail. It didn't appear to be part of these stripes. It appeared to be separate almost from that. And this was again later on, maybe about 10 o'clock. And it wasn't a great photo. I think my wife got better pictures with her camera. So I'll get them maybe on Wednesday and we'll get a better look. But they only expanded and a lot of them sort of joined up. Some of them stayed. And later on, there even appeared to be lines that went horizontally across it, which I thought was quite interesting. But if I take you to, let me see, a short video now, I think I know where these lines originated. Because earlier that night, maybe about 6 o'clock, I spotted a strange cloud in the sky, as you do, as I do anyway. And I thought, well, I'll take a short video of it. It was one of these clouds where I think maybe some people might call them a UFO cloud, or I don't know, but you'll know the sort of cloud that I mean. So I took a short video of it, and I'll show you, if I can work the bloody thing. I'll show you it now. Right, it's only about 2 minutes long, so no stress. Where is it? Here it goes. So here's the video. It's got the cloud that I seen from about maybe 6 o'clock tonight, and then again a picture of the moon. Now you'll see the UFO cloud that I mean, but if you look below that, you'll also see a long big cloud, and that was the cloud that I think ended up basically in front of the moon. So here it goes. So that's the suspect in question, if you like. That is him. That's the guy. When I fought back, when I seen the lines in the sky later on that night, originally I never kind of put two and two together. It was only later on in the night I thought, well, wait a minute. Thinking back to that cloud that I seen earlier in the evening, I couldn't help but think that this was where it originated. This is where the lines originated. And I wish I'd kind of kept a bit more of an eye on it. But if you look, I'm unsure how well you're going to see it, but you'll see the lines in the cloud, compact almost. And my best bet would be this is expanded to an extent where it's been gigantic lines right across the sky, like we've witnessed tonight. I think some of them are actually still there as I'm speaking. And I'm laughing, but I can tell you now, this will not be good. This will not be good. This is not a UFO or a spaceship. To be honest, I wish it was. I actually wish it was. Because they could come and pick me up and take me away. In fact, no, forget it. I've seen the movies. I know what these governments do. I mean, aliens do to people, right? We'll go with that. I kind of wish it was a UFO. And hey, again, I could be wrong. Seemingly, I've been wrong before. So my wife tells me, at least. And she's always right, so it must be true. Of course, none of us are perfect. But honestly, I've had my suspicion about these particular clouds. I've seen similar before. I've documented similar before. I've never seen them end up with this lines in the sky, pretty much in the exact same area, which is also pretty strange. I mean, they're still there. Where this this photo is this cloud, it was in the exact same area that I took the other photos of the lines that went across for miles. And I wish I'd maybe kept an eye on it throughout the night, but I never really expected more of it. It was only until later on when I seen the lines. But that's the new show that we're going to be doing as well. It might only be on the website, so I'm unsure. Send it to MB33. I think he'll maybe say that it was a UFO, but I don't think it is. This, in my view, in my honest opinion, is weather modification. And I think maybe some sort of technique that I don't even know about, that we don't even know about. How this was created, I'm unsure. I mean, it almost looks like it's originated from a factory chimney or something like that. You can't really imagine it being from an aircraft, but I mean, who could really say? But it stood out like a sore thumb. So unnatural. My gut told me straight away to record it. And at first I thought, oh, it's the Wi-Fi kind of signals that you see, the frequency. But it looked even stranger than that. I've seen that before as well. I've documented that before, looked back on it several occasions. And I'm unsure how this is created, but I reckon it's what has ended up leaving us with these gigantic streaks across the sky. And in my honest view, I can only put it down to weather modification and or some sort of synthetic atmospheric transformation, which would be a wee bit more than just the weather control or the weather modification. But my gut instinct kind of tells me that whatever it is, it's not good, unfortunately. Going to be interesting to see what the next few days is going to bring. We're already in. I mean, what are we even in? What world are we in at the moment? I feel like we're constantly now in uncharted territory, but I guess that's been the case. Well, maybe even since going back to the 9/11 incident. But again, we're in a reset, a great robbery, a chance for the rich to get even richer and get away with it. That's what they do. They let others take the blame and they get away and create a new world, a new democracy. Yeah. Honestly, there's nothing new under the sun whatsoever. Time and time again, the same tricks every time. And even in that, thinking back to the Bill Cooper clip that I played, Bill talks about the Knights Templar and how one of the Knights Templar was a Catholic, but they hated Catholics. And Bill's like, well, that's a bit strange. Well, no, but it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if he was Catholic, pink with blue spots. They'll use and abuse as they see fit, no matter what. If you sign allegiance up to them, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. They themselves will shift into anything they see fit to further whatever agenda it is that they have. And in my view, the Knights Templar, they never all got murdered and taken out and all the rest of it. They might have portrayed that happened, but the real ones that pull the strings, they would have got away. No two ways about it. And we might get into more Bill Cooper stuff in the future. But tonight, mainly, I wanted to point out that video, the new show that we're going to do, hopefully this week. But it could be next week. On Wednesday, like I said, I will be live for a bit longer, possibly 2 hours. Getting into NASA, Wee Billy, Rockefeller, Devil Bell, the UN, AI, 5G, all the good stuff, right? One of the stories, Bill Gates is he's saying that Elon Musk is wrong spending all this money on going to Mars, which is correct, right? But guess what? Guess what Devil Bill would rather spend the money on? Holidays? Nope. Trip to the moon? Nope. Epstein Island? Nope. Vaccines? Of course. Of course, yeah. Obviously, right? That's what we would all do. That's what we should all do with our money. Buy more wonder vaccines because they're so safe and effective. Yay! And when we get into the UN on Wednesday, I'm going to have to watch. It's going to be hard not to get a strike talking about disinformation, medical disinformation. There is certain laws that certain acts you can use with satire and comedy. I feel that I could maybe use that a bit more to my gain. Although thinking back to Vernon Coleman's video, that could be a different story. I don't think I could use Article 20, whatever it is, freedom of speech when I'm sharing a video of someone else. If it's myself live like now, I could maybe use it. Whether it would work, I'm unsure. I have got comedy listed in the channel, although, again, you might not find any here. Who knows, right? But I certainly get a good laugh. And I really enjoy the community that we've got. But I am going to have to call it a night tonight. But like I said, I will be back again on the Wednesday. Right, so I reckon it'll be about 8 o'clock, 8:30. And there's, honest to God, there's so much to get into. And thank you to Richie Allen and for the shout out for letting me plug the channel. And I think as well someone posted the website on the Richie's website, so that was great as well. Hopefully we'll get a few more in the group chat. I think we've already got about 20 people that have joined. It reminds me of an old sort of Facebook, if you like, the old school Facebook, 2010 Facebook. And I think it's all right. It would be good if people used it and shared articles and videos and what have you. I'll certainly be posting a few more stuff, and I have linked it in, so there's no excuses, right? Don't have me chasing you. Make sure you check it out. Give me some feedback and uh, share some information. I post. Get creative. Do what you engage at your pleasure. So hopefully you can check it out. I did spend a lot of time on it, but it is still quite basic. So go easy, right? So I guess until the Wednesday, good to see Rich in the hood. Oh, Steve as well, the number one moderator. Good to see Steve in the hood. Atlantis, a pleasure to see you. Rich, always good to see Rich. Robert as well. Good to see Robert in the hood. Great stuff. Let me know if you noticed that tonight with the streaks in the sky. We're going to go with that. Gary as well. A pleasure to see our brother Gary in the hood. Did I miss anyone else? Probably not. Kari as well. You might hear my daughter. She's kicking off. She's some character. Kids, right? Who would have them? Sue spraying as well. Good to see Sue, and thank you for joining on the website. We're going to be posting a lot more there, hopefully. A one-man band, but I try my best, right? You've got to. Mr. Rusty's as well, is it? Yeah, we'll go with that. Good to see you. A pleasure to have you. The International Space Station. Yeah, in space. Do you know what? That's the balloon. I think you might be right, actually. Yeah, that's what it might have been. Honest to God, that's what it might have been. Of course, the majority of the time it's in a swimming pool or CGI, but seemingly you can see it in the sky. Yeah, totally right. You can wave at them. Yeah, and of course, people think that it's in space, but it's not. Even NASA say that it's not. I actually went onto a NASA live stream to be a bit of a troll. And one guy was asking me to get him banned, ban him, kick him out, throw him out. He's a troll. And all I was saying was that the space station's not in space, and it's not. Even NASA say that it's not. Yet when I told people that in the chat, they all said, "No, it's in space," not even knowing that it's in space. Honestly. I mean, what do you even say to that? I think the media and even NASA themselves constantly say spacewalk, space station, space this, space that. Well, no, it's not. It's in a very low Earth orbit, even if it is that, because I even doubt that. I think they could. Well, put it this way to be short, I think they fake a lot more than going to the moon. And there's a Facebook group, quite a big one, about the moon landing hoax. And I spoke to, I think, the main guy that runs it, and seemingly going by what he said, he actually works for a space agency. I'm not going to say what one. I'll keep that between me and him for the time being, at least. But in his view, quite interesting, I thought. In his view, NASA only faked Apollo 11 and one other Apollo mission. So only 2 of them were fake, but the rest of them were, they were real, right? And that surprised me a wee bit, to be honest. In my own view, they're all fake. But then again, who am I, right? So, and good to see Rags as well in the hood. Great stuff. I'll find a tune and we'll call it a night, troops, and hopefully we'll see you all on Wednesday. I can't remember when I'm back on my main channel. Is it Friday? I'm not even sure. I'll have to check. Depending on the time, we could be back on the original channel. 1 strike added. So for how long, I'm unsure. But look out for us on Wednesday, hopefully about 8 o'clock. Sharky as well, good to see you in the hood. Unfortunately, we're just wrapping up. Yeah, the moon, will definitely discuss that as well. A lot going on. And there'll be more. Hopefully I'll get more photos on the night that I had tonight. Very strange. I'm adamant. My gut feeling is behind, is telling me that cloud is behind. That's the streaks that appeared later on. Total weather manipulation. Atmospheric manipulation is what I'm going to call it. I've yet to see any weather from it, so I guess I can't call it that. So I'm going to go with atmospheric manipulation. I dread to imagine what it actually is. Honestly, I've not got a good feeling about it. So we'll get into that. Happy days, right? And we'll get a good laugh with NASA. Honestly, there's some crackers with them, and Bill Gates as well, as always. Michelle as well, good to see you. Great stuff. Thank you very much, Michelle, for joining the website. Like I said, the website is linked in. Make sure you get over and join the group chat, or I'm going to have to chase you. So until Wednesday at about 8-9 o'clock, remember, whatever you do not ever for 1 split second even entertain the thought of fear. Don't do it. And like I always say, no matter what, no matter where, do not comply. And that is about it. Bye-bye.
Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. In the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find. No, they did it. In the year 3535, ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lies. Everything you think, do or say is in the pill you took today. In the year 4545, ain't gonna need your teeth or your eyes. You won't find a thing to chew through the eternal night, twinkling of starlight, so very far away. Maybe it's yesterday.